So let me ask us a few questions. How many of us here had this gut feeling about taking this course or this training and was like, okay, this course would do me a very important good? How many of us had that feeling? Okay. And the first presentation, how many people had butterflies in their stomach? Okay, very good survey. So let me start by saying the stomach and the first of all, my name is Joseph Jego, and the stomach and the brain have for a long time been known to have similar properties in terms of how their composition. And that brings me to my topic of why the gut is regarded as the second brain. Okay, so I'll give a brief background. The brain, first of all, is regarded as the most complex organism in our human self, and it comprises of about a billion or about 100 billion neurons. And the stomach also is regarded as one as the second, which is ahead of the spinal cord. And why the brain is regarded as um, the second, why the gut rather is regarded as the second brain is due to certain reasons, and I'll take us through that journey. So first of all, we talk about microbiomes. So in the stomach, there are about 1 trillion microbiomes in the stomach. They comprise of viruses, bacteria, fungi. And these microbiomes exist from birth and they go with us till death. So from when you're breastfeeding, from when um, you don't eat solid food, these things exist. And according to Smith and Wiesel in 2019, there's a communication that exists between the brain and the gut. Yes. And this communication exists or it happens along a nerve that is called the vagus nerve, which goes from the base of the brain to just below the gut, which is around the large intestine or the colon rather. And this communication is it happens two ways. That's from the gut to the brain to the and the brain to the gut. Secondly, according to Johnson in 2022, this networking of biomes is what um, helps us as individuals to understand things that happen within our digestive systems and our brain. So my second point goes to the neural connection. And this neural connection that happens, it explains to us why about the 100 billion neurons or communications that exist within the brain and about 500 million that exist within the stomach, which are the two highest within the body. And thirdly, I'll bring us to serotonin, which is a very important hormone. And this hormone is very important in the sense that it's is what regulates pain within our body, is what regulates stress, is what regulates um, even physical activity. So, for example, for people that go to the gym or that work out often, without enough serotonin in your body, there's this inability for the body to absorb certain chemicals that are necessary for muscle building and all of that. So, Mark Fabi in 2013 reminds us that because of the importance of serotonin in our body, it is very important to note that 95% of it is produced in the gut, and only 5% is produced in the brain. So to think that stress that causes, well, let me say ulcer, which is a very byproduct, a very common byproduct of stress, is produced or is as a result of this production of serotonin, which gives us that reminder that yes, the gut is really important, especially when it comes to hormones and our overall imbalance. So just to summarize, I'll conclude by saying let me conclude by using a statistic by Moriyama, a Japanese author. And the title of this book is Why Japanese Women Don't Get Fat or Age. And in this book, she laid down a statistic which says about Japanese people, first of all, they are the oldest or the longest living people in the whole world. And why? Because from birth, there's this upbringing that they all have where fruits, vegetables, and foods generally that improve the gut health are prioritized right from when you're giving birth to. And in this book, the statistics she laid out was overall, Japanese people, men and women, live averagely about 85 to 76 years, which is averagely 6 and 4 years than the next country, which is the United States. And speaking of obesity, in Japan, only about 3% of the entire population is obese, compared to the second, which is France, in the developed world, of course. In the developed world, which France comes in second at 11%, and United States, unfortunately, comes at 35%. And the Institute of Obesity reminds us that if the Japanese people were thrown into the United States and given the same kind of food the people in the United States eat, they would definitely become obese. Definitely. Yes. So this just reminds us that we should prioritize our gut health. And for those that have children and are yet to give birth to children, I'll urge us to please indulge in this simple act. Thank you very much. I remain my humble self, Joseph. Thank you.